I hope you can see my screen. So for those who don't know me, my name is John Atif, part of Global Service Lines or GSL team, and I'm responsible for the managed SSE services in our portfolio. So the likes, working with partners like the likes of Palo, Zscaler, and Netscope. So managed secure access is basically part of a bigger SASE initiative. It's handled by OCD and OB, and which our team, global marketing team, has been working on. I assume over the past few weeks, most of you have seen the press release, which was out with Palo Alto, and before that, the one with Netscope. Um, uh, in that context, there is a number of customer value proposals as well as a joint value proposals with each vendor, which is being created. And when you want to present to a customer, we understand this may become a bit confusing, especially when you want to decide when to present what exactly. This is the purpose of this decision tree that you can see on the screen. It gives you a bit of guidance on which material to use. Uh, in May's call, International Monthly Call in May, Emmanuel did cover this OCD, SASE CVP, and today our focus is on the managed secure access service. Of course, needless to say, this is an internal decision tree. Don't remove it before you present to a customer, please. So I'm coming today to announce a new release of Managed Secure Access, which is based on Netscope as a vendor. We will take the opportunity to get you through the latest customer presentation and the enhanced approach we are currently using with the service. So I think you all know how to present or inside defense. I hope so. I'll skip this part. So over the past years, the way we do business and the way our customers do conduct their business as well has changed, has evolved. The pandemic did accelerate the IT transformation of multiple organizations, uh, making them realize that it's not only they need to change the way they do day-to-day work, but also rethink how the different teams do interact with each other. There are three main drivers that contributed to today's status. The first one is for sure the fast adoption of cloud services in all its forms, help to move the applications and their associated data from inside an organization to the cloud. Um, with the majority of the corporate data being stored outside the perimeter of a company, the enterprise boundaries have clearly shifted, leading to internet being the new corporate network and the acceleration of remote and hybrid work. The use of various devices to access the corporate data extended the definition of work to make it no longer bound to a specific place, as you know. Those drivers changed the way we used to build security for the past decades, I would say, because they are no longer fitting today's reality. Beside the fact that those changes are uh, felt by all of us, they are supported as well by analysts doing research like Gartner and the ones that we are seeing on the screen. Those changes basically led to corporate data is now everywhere. Research shows that in the coming couple of years, 90% of an organization's data will be processed outside the corporate parameter, basically in the cloud, which means the task of securing corporate data requires a new mindset beyond the traditional security tactics, which was always assuming the data is stored within a company parameter. Targeted attacks, and I think, this is what Grant was just explaining, are becoming more sophisticated and targeted day after day with the intention of to infiltrate networks, steal sensitive information, and disrupt critical operations. This was clear in Orange Cyber Defense latest Security Navigator, where 40% of investigated incidents by our team involved malware and 30% of the incident targeted users and their endpoint devices. The number of discovered vulnerabilities increases every day, every year, and by multiple folds, I would say. Our again, in the borrowing from the security navigator, on average, it takes 215 days to patch a critical vulnerability. So providing an attacker with enough time to exploit them. On the other hand, there is no easy fix available. Even organizations who relied on cyber insurance as a remedy, this is no longer a straightforward solution, with the insurance provider adapting and adjusting their premiums to reflect the increased level of risk. On the other hand, the cybersecurity skills gap is widening day after day, with a significant shortage of qualified personnel in the industry. Probably you know this figure. There is a gap of 3.4 million unfulfilled cybersecurity jobs worldwide. Furthermore, studies do indicate that around 70% of organizations believe they lack the qualified cybersecurity staff to meet their needs. This shortage limits an organization's ability to effectively defend against ongoing cyber threats without on their own, basically without if they don't get help from others. All those factors lead to escalation of costs and show more than ever that organizations must seek strategic partnership with security providers who can complement their security capabilities, reduce risk, and ultimately help them to maintain a secure posture over time. Business users are, this is leading that the business users are becoming the new perimeter of an organization. Those users need to securely access corporate data wherever they are hosted, and they need to access them whether they are in the office, whether they are at home, or they are on the go. In this new hybrid work environment, the digital experience of those business users are becoming very important as well. So beside securely providing access, enterprises do need ways to proactively gain visibility on their users' overall digital experience and act even without users reporting those digital experience issues. Talking with customers, we see that their challenges can be summarized in around 4 points. The first challenge is complexity, and this can be seen on multiple levels. On the user's level, for them to connect to corporate data, users need to maybe start a VPN. They need to authenticate to multiple systems, which may require different credentials. They may need different configuration for the endpoint, depending on whether they are working from an office or working remotely. Those factors pile up and cause that the experience of the users are not fluid and it's complex. If you look even from a security administrator point of view, it's challenging to apply a same set of policies for users who are working from the office, remote users, and who are using different devices. They may need to have different set of policies for each of those scenarios, and most of the time they need to manually keep those policies in sync, which results in, again, in complexity and lower productivity, and easily creates security gaps, because as you know, the more complexity, the harder the security is. Its complexity is always the enemy of security. The second challenge is the fragmentation. Organizations today are using too many tools, too many vendors, too many point solutions. Each of them is most of the time managed independently, which can pose a challenge when it comes to governance, compliance, and risk management. Just imagine that an administrator in an organization requires to get a compliance report. Most of the time, they need to access multiple tools to consolidate data and to export and import data into multiple places, which is basically not easy. As a consequence, there is a fragmentation in the resources that support those point solutions, and most of the time, there is no proper governance among those teams, which puts a question mark on the effectiveness of the actual controls put in place. The third challenge is inflexibility. As you know, if you're not flexible enough, to embrace new technologies and innovate, you lose competitive advantage. But the way security is currently being set up in many organizations does not allow for this agility that the business expects. Yeah, just imagine, yeah, that a security infrastructure which is difficult to scale, which is based on legacy technology, it basically hinders and puts a burden on the business to adapt to the expected evolutions and needs. The last challenge puts it all together. Those scattered resources translate to a cost. There is a cost for complexity, there's a cost for fragmentation and inflexibility. The complexity and inflexibility translates to higher total cost of ownership. It translates to more expensive lifecycle management. And this is especially the case for legacy hardware and on-prem solutions. Just imagine the bill that the customer has to pay if they need to update on-site hardware or refresh appliances which are getting end of life in hundreds of locations. Similarly, if you have different teams running those different tools, they require a breadth of competences, keeping in mind the 3.4 million jobs gap that we were just talking about. It puts pressure on organizations to find the right talents and retain them over time. And this is what Managed Secure Access is focusing on. We help customers to have a single service which protects and secures their user access to data application with both speed and security. Customers are now able to free up their valuable resources to focus on business topics rather than day-to-day operations or technology-related topics. How do we do that? We use a number of use cases which abstracts the technology we are getting from our vendors so that they all look the same from a managed service point of view. The first use case is secure internet access. This use case is focusing on securing users' access to internet resources. As we are focusing today on the launch of MSA with Netscope, this is the Netscope next generation secure web gateway solution, their cloud firewall solution, as well as the remote browser isolation solution. The second use case is the secure private access use case, which focuses on securing users and third parties access to internal corporate resources by deploying a zero trust network access solution. With Netscope, this is their Netscope private access, or as it's known as MPA. The third use case is secure cloud access, and it focuses on securing users' consumption of cloud applications. Netscope has multiple solutions in that space, which includes their CASB solution, which they have been known for quite some time, their CASB API integration, and their DLP solution. The digital experience management enables us to measure the digital experience from an end user perspective while they are using the other use cases. So the digital experience management helps as well us and the customers to pinpoint what is degrading the user experience and thus driving appropriate corrective actions. So when we look into managed secure access, this is our new approach, and it's more focusing on the outcomes. And it is divided into two components: a technology layer, which is provided by one of our supported technology partners. The use cases we just discussed abstract the different functionality provided by the vendor, and it abstracts as well the differences between the different vendors. The second component is the service layer, which goes beyond the vendor capabilities and allows us to provide customers with an outcome-based service, which we at Orange Cyber Defense are best known for. The service layer utilizes OCD unique capabilities and differentiators. We have just heard about our threat intelligence. Threat intelligence is integrated by default in managed secure access. Our professional services teams ensures that the right strategy, design, and integration is put in place. Our 24/7 SOC and CyberSOC teams provide customers with round-the-clock support, and the designated cybersecurity experts that get assigned to customers works with them throughout the life cycle of the service through their reviews, recommendations, and experience. They help customers to maintain a secure posture. What I would like to highlight here about the enhanced approach is Managed Secure Access is now built as a framework which creates clear separation between the technology layer and the outcome-based service layer. This for our sales and pre-sales people in the call today, this approach allows you to go beyond pitching a specific vendor story and then try to defend the value we bring by trying to position a managed service on top. Now you are able to focus and lead with an outcome-based service where the technology is only a component of it. You don't need to wait until the customer selects the vendor to start talking about managed secure access. It's always better to start talking about our services, then bring the vendor to the discussion, and this allows you to be positioned in the customer mind as the trusted advisor, the trusted partner, rather than a follower of one of the vendors. Let's have a look. What does this mean? So if we zoom slightly on the service layer, so the upper component, we will find that we will see all what we would usually expect in a service, in a managed service, service activation, incident and problem management, service request management, and the like. I will only focus on unique service components just for the sake of time. And what should you focus on when talking with customers? So the first part is the intelligence-led part, which Grant have just explained. I will not go again into this part. Well, the key takeaway that you need to understand that all the threat intelligence that are ingested inside Managed Secure Access are pre-validated, so that we are able to block high risk threats with zero false positives. What does it mean for customers? It means that the customer can get protection against emerging threats without having to worry of false positives or blocking legitimate traffic. The second component, service component, which I will focus on, is the secure posture management. We appoint to customers our experts who work with them to ensure their policies and configuration are up to date and are following the best practices by both providing reports and recommendation over the lifetime of the service. Yes, sorry. This covers 4 different modules depending on the use cases that the customer did choose to utilize. So the threat policy management ensures that secure web gateway, URL categories, the firewall as a service policies, as well as private application policies are properly configured. The DLP policy management work
Looks like John crashed.
Yeah. Hello, John.
Customer.
There he is. He's coming back. John, we can't hear you. I don't know if you can hear us. Freeze. You might want to maybe switch your webcam off. Hey, John, can you hear us?
You still hear me? Hello?
So we lost you for a minute there. You completely froze. I think again. John. Earth calling John. There's the worst jokes happening. John, can you hear us?
I think
John-
he's gone. Yeah.
Looks like we have time for better jokes.
Maybe, yeah. John, disconnect maybe and reconnect me.
Yeah.
Just let me ping him.
Yeah, he's on Do Not Disturb, so
Okay, I think he disconnected. Let's see. Anne, do you know how long you think he had still to cover? Because
about
We have
5
I think
minutes.
at least, yeah, 5-10 minutes at least. But
Oh.
yeah, we can ask him to do it shorter.
Well,
Just,
perhaps I might take the opportunity to ask. I know this might be a bit weird, but
John is back. Yeah,
he's back.
sorry. I think, John, you have to cut your camera.
Yeah, we can't hear him.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, but I suggest
I think
you
you-
remove your camera.
Yeah, okay. I'll stop the camera then.
Yeah, sometimes it interferes. Do you want to share your screen again?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do that.
Thank you.
Let me know if you can see the screen.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we do.
Cool. Okay. So basically at the 4 modules, we use a consistent methodology which gets carried out by our designated security expert, and which involves conducting a monthly security governance with the customer, a quarterly security review, and an annual compliance audit, which acts like a snapshot, helping customer to see how things progress over time. So just for sake of time, I will not go through the details of this slide, which explains the activities that our experts do carry out with customers to help them maintain a secure posture, but they are part of the customer presentation. And this is a list of the proactive set of activities that our experts do carry out with the customer around the planning, analysis, and governance and audit optimization and recommendations. The idea of the secure posture management is to continuously align the customer security policies with the evolving requirements of their business, and thus decreasing any gaps or misalignment and helping to reduce security risks by having our experts continuously working with customers to improve their security posture. Self-service access is another unique component. Maybe we don't have lots of time to cover this as well, but the key takeaway is we rely on the OCD Global Portal for customers to interact with the service, and we provide them with read-only access towards the Netscope Management Console so that they are able to get a view of what is going on in the environment. And for those customers who would like to perform changes to the service with our teams, they will need to subscribe to the co-management access option. And this is this catalog, which basically explains what are the allowed changes as part of this, which customers can make use of, with a clear column indicating which of those changes are allowed in the co-management. The idea is to provide customers with the ability to perform low-risk changes on their own without having to go through Orange Cyber Defense. Service reporting is this is a sample taken from the monthly service report that customers would get on a monthly basis, and which includes an executive summary, usage summary, what applications has been in use, what are the detected threats as part of the service, and provide recommendations for customers that would allow them to have to better align their requirements with their evolving business needs. MSA comes into 3 service levels: core, standard, premium. I'll not jump into I'll not explain the details, but I invite you to go and have a look into the landing page of MSA. It explains what is the difference between the three service levels, which customer profile would you position the core, the standard, and the premium. Main customer outcomes is basically we help them to de-risk their transformation projects. We enhance the visibility, achieve better risk management, help them maintain a secure posture, and maximize their return on investment. And in the future, if they need to introduce changes to the technology layer, so rely on a different vendor than Netscope, we are able to seamlessly do that, and thanks to the framework that has been created. This is one of the few services where we have a public reference. This is Stolt-Nielsen, a Netherlands-based customer. The customer has a scattered WAN infrastructure. This deal has been signed with both Orange Cyber Defense and OB. Maybe the key takeaway here is that the sales team did use a land and expand sales strategy to penetrate the account. They focused on 2 use cases, and they helped the customers to consolidate the multiple vendors that they had, help them to optimize cost, and work with them to put a foundation for a zero trust strategy. In your sales journey, you will have a number of sales collateral which you can rely on. All those links are clickable, so when you get the presentation, you will be able to utilize them, including the MSA landing page. And there is the SaaS Unify program. If you are not aware of it, this has launched a few months back, and it's governing all the creation of all SASE and SSE offers in our portfolio. As part of the framework that has been created, one point to highlight that the service description is vendor agnostic, which is focusing on the outcomes that the customer will get, and it's applicable for all vendors. The vendor exhibit and the change catalog are vendor specific, and the plan is to add more partners to this framework. Same service description, we will have a vendor exhibit and a change catalog for each newly added vendor. If you have an opportunity, please get in touch with our central and soon local champions for MSA. There is a pricing tool which has been created, but it's not generally available at this stage. So if you have an opportunity, the central team can help you in the scoping and the pricing. And very soon we are working on having local champions in each of the countries who can work with you in if you have an opportunity, if you would like help in presenting to a customer and so forth. So, and if any of you is interested to be part of the MSA local champions in your country, please get in touch with me after the presentation. I put here as well what you need to have in terms of what information do you need in order to get the full pricing. If you don't have all of that, don't worry, get in touch with one of our champions and they will ask you the right questions. With that, yeah, I'm done. If you have any questions.